Here's my first ride review of the brand new heated goggles from Klim. It's their Edge E-Fire. I'm gonna break it down into my top 5 features. There are some things that can be improved, and then I'll save my final verdict for the end of the video. So in the last video I posted, we were riding in Fernie, and we had some pretty challenging conditions weather-wise. We had rain, snow, crazy amounts of wind. We were getting stuck right off the bat, so we're sweating, breathing hard. I was wearing my breath box. So basically all of the worst things you can do to a set of goggles to get them to fog, we did it. So my 5th favorite feature is just how well these new goggles fit with the Klim F3 Carbon helmet. They also fit great with the F5 helmet. They're a big goggle, but the helmet has a big opening perfectly carved out to fit those goggles so that there's no air gaps or leaks where wind can get in and cause any frostbite. So full disclosure, I'm not sponsored by Klim in any way. I purchased these goggles with my own money, and these are my honest opinions. I'm making this video because there's some people out there that are probably in the market for some heated goggles, and they'll find this information useful. Hey, thanks to all you recent subscribers. When you hit subscribe, it shows YouTube that I'm making some decent content, and it pushes my video out to more people that can find it useful. So thanks again. Number 4 is how easy these lenses are to change out. So in our first ride, we had some overcast conditions, a lot of snow, a lot of fog. It's tough to see. So I put on that yellow lens. As soon as the sun comes out, it's quick and easy just to swap out that lens to something like the black polarized lens. Number 3 is the nose guard. It's a fairly low profile design and it fits excellent with the breath box. So the breath box that comes with the F3 and the F5 helmets slides up and over the nose guard, prevents any wind when you're on the trail from getting in and causing any frostbite on your nose or around your cheeks. You can also fit in a nice balaclava just to seal up any other gaps. So that nose guard with the breath box and a balaclava, going up the trail pretty quick on a cold day, you shouldn't have any issues. So my second favorite feature is the LED light that Klim has put on the inside of the frame. You can just see it in your peripheral vision, or you can take a glance to the right and see that light. The light will either be red, orange, green, or blue, or blinking blue. So this will tell you what mode the goggle's in. So you don't have to ask your buddy like, hey, are my goggles on? Can you see the blinking light? I want to know whether or not they're heating or not, or if they're dead. So it's an awesome feature. You don't have to take your helmet off, check your goggles. You can see what mode they're in just with a glance. So my number 1 feature is the auto mode. When you first turn the goggles on, they go into auto mode, and that's indicated with a blue light. Inside the frame of the goggles, there's a moisture sensor, and when it senses moisture, it turns the goggles from standby to on. And you can see that in the corner of your eye with that blinking light. So when that light's blinking blue, it means the goggles are in standby. They're not actually heating the lens. As soon as it changes to a solid blue, you know that it's heating. So during our ride, when we're sweating and they're kind of breathing hard and you're worried that the goggles are gonna fog up, that light would be solid blue. So I'd never have to turn it to the green mode, which is always on, or the orange mode, which is max mode. I just left it in auto all day, except for one time when I accidentally got snow inside the goggles. I took my helmet off and snow was blowing in with the wind from the side and filled the lenses right up. So all I did is I just turned it to the orange max mode, and the goggles basically melted all that snow. I kind of just shook out a lot of the snow as well. Then I just dabbed the moisture out with my goggle towel. Klim actually says don't wipe the inside of your goggles or use any kind of cleaner. There's an anti-fog treatment that you can wipe or scratch off. It's really sensitive to scratches. It said so right in the manual. So one other awesome feature is these have USB-C charging. You charge them up in your truck with your phone charger on the way. So yeah, I was super impressed by that auto mode and the battery life. It lasted all day, got back to the truck, and there was still battery life remaining. These lasted all day. This yellow light's blinking now. Guessing that means it's getting low. All right, it's not all Dos Equis and sunshine. There are a few improvements that Klim can make to these goggles. So the first improvement I'd like to see Klim make is with their lens options. Right now they have a polarized smoke option. It's super dark, it's black. It's this lens that's on there right now. And that's great for sunny days, or maybe it's kind of flat light for picking out details in the snow. But when it gets really flat light, this is too dark. So I'd like to see a polarized rose tint or a polarized yellow tint. The second improvement or change I'd like to see Klim make is where they have the power button on the power module. If you have a heavy set of gloves on, I found myself kind of struggling to find that button when I was trying to change it from, say, auto mode to always on, the green mode. So I'd like to see them put that power button on the bottom so that you could use your thumb with your left hand or with your right hand and make it a little bigger. On my Oakley Inferno heated goggles, it's a big button right on the bottom of that power module. It's super easy to find and it's really easy to hit. Okay, number 3, the goggles aren't crazy expensive compared to some of the options out on the market, but for 379 Canadian for the goggles and up to 129 for an additional lens, you're looking at a $500 investment in a set of heated goggles, and there are some much more affordable options in the market. So I would like to see that price come down, even $30 to $40. That would make it a lot easier for people to get into the heated goggle market. And number 4 would be the weight of the goggle. These goggles come with a fairly big battery. They're intended to last the entire day, but the only problem is that adds quite a bit of extra weight to your helmet. And you don't always need that big of a battery. Like, depending on conditions, you might only use half the battery. So I think Klim should have a smaller battery, package the goggles with 2 of them. When one battery dies, swap it out with the other battery, and it'll take a fair amount of weight off your head. When I weighed these goggles, they were around 370 grams. My 509 heated goggles weighed 315 grams. And my Oakley Inferno heated goggles weighed 285 grams. That's a full 85 grams lighter, and it's mainly because of that smaller battery. So Klim offer a lighter version of the goggle. We don't always need the goggles to last all day. If the battery dies, we'll just swap out that lighter battery. Having less weight on the side of your head will be a huge improvement. Final verdict, I'm giving these a thumbs up. I was super impressed with these goggles. The auto mode alone is worth it. If you're worried that they're fogging, all you have to do is look in the corner of your eye. If you see that blue light, you know they're turned on.
Mission Control, this is Commander Bubbles. I'm requesting reallocation of main arms firing to the CDS at level 6. Please advise.
You can always bump them up to the green mode so that they're staying on. You might not get the best battery life because of that. And if they're super fogged or you have the worst conditions,
over. How's that?
Just bump them up to that orange max mode and they will clear the lens. If you're thinking about getting a set of these goggles, I recommend you support your local dealership. If you're in the Lethbridge area, head down to Lethbridge Honda, go into accessories, look for Cody, and tell them Jason sent you. You might get a little deal. Buy a jug of oil while you're at it. All right, hopefully you found that helpful. We'll see you next time. So if you see this red light on your power module, shut it down, and you're going to want to take your lens out. Your lens was not seated correctly. You'll see that there's some contacts here on the left side of the lens. Just put it back in, make sure those contacts are touching each other, and you should be good to go. The lens magnetically snaps back together. Turn the power button back on, and hopefully it's blue. Okay, hopefully that helped. Share it with your riding buddies, and we'll see you next time.